big. And therefore, when you provide statistics about that movement, that particular person, you help the government and also the region to be able to plan for resources for them, including governance and security.
One of the guiding documents for us is the Regional Migration Policy Framework that also articulates some of the areas that we can work together with the member states in order to come up with policies which are conducive to help in terms of getting the benefits of the mobility situation within the region.
The protocol enjoins member states, first of all, to ensure free movement of persons with the right to entry, stay and exit in any member state of IGAD, the free movement of labor, mobility of workers, the right of residence and right of establishment.
Somalia has produced its first migration statistics report, migration trends such as refugees, asylum seekers, returnees, as well as mobility statistics.
When we come together, we have discussions as different member states. We have discussions along concepts, the ways onto which we are producing these statistics, the different indicators that different member states are producing related to migration statistics. So these discussions allow for comparability among different member states, and in so comparing, we identify gaps where individual countries need to improve.
We are celebrating the launch of the second edition of the Migration Statistics Reports that have been led by IGAD this past years. This exercise is a big milestone for us because it's showing that the National Technical Working Group's efforts, it's effective, putting on the table a result of joint efforts by IGAD, but also member states.
What are the current gaps or the inconsistencies that we are facing as a technical working group? So we realize that there are already gaps and there are inconsistencies when we are collecting this data. And that is the reason why we are saying, as a country, we are strongly prioritizing technical support for the standardization and harmonization of data collection tools throughout in the country. And we are estimating it in the first quarter of 2026. We wanted to ensure that this priority area is achieved.
Capacity building training. This can be technical and technological for the ESS and for in the signatory institutions. This we put the timetable intervals because actually it will take a time. Therefore, for this time, the timetable we put is this one is from May to September 2026. And for this one, also the support that needed can be technical and financial support.
This process, when we started, 2019, we were a small group, and fast forward to 2025, we've seen how the migration data has become a strong component of our engagement collectively at IGAD Secretariat, with member states, with partners, because we know that ownership of data by member states is very critical, and I think it's we want to acknowledge to ourselves our investment collectively, what we have done, because you've seen yourself, some of you, that from the beginning you've been there. We have also new members of this technical working group, but it's a process. We're moving forward, so this is not the end. Yes, today we're launching the second edition. We also aspire next year to launch the third edition already, so we're in the process. But I think it's just a moment of a second to reflect and acknowledge what we have achieved collectively in the last few years. With that, just few points, I would like to invite now to the podium, starting with IOM. Please come to the podium. AUC. Republic of Djibouti as IGAD chair, Madam Omal Hair, and I also like to invite from, as a host country of IGAD, this meeting, Madam Rosemary Bowen, who's the Director of Population and Social Statistics of Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Deputy Executive Secretary Mr. Mohammed Wari, to the podium. I also would like to acknowledge online the representative of government of Sudan, but also in absentia Statistics Sweden and GIZ that have been supporting this process from the beginning. On that note, allow me to invite for IOM to say a few remarks. Madam Kenza.
Many thanks, Chair. So, okay. Many thanks, Chair. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, representatives from member states, the IGAD Secretariat and partners. I would really like to thank you very much, first of all, for organizing this very important event where migration data and statistics come together. I would definitely be seconding the chair when she says that in 2019, since 2019, it has actually been a process with IGAD, but also with other regs and also at the continental level as well as the global level. Migration data and statistics, when we first started talking about the topic, it was very challenging because migration data and statistics was seen from a particular lens, and migration data and statistics is very important when it comes to the development sphere. So the whole process was also a certain way for us to bring forward the nexus between migration and development when it comes to migration data and statistics. So it has been a long process, but a lot has been done. A lot has been done content-wise, a lot has been done from a system perspective and architectural perspective, because there is a certain basis that is needed in order to strengthen and to enhance the migration data ecosystem. This is being done one step at a time, and what a better time, what a better opportunity than this opportunity that we have today, a launch of the second edition of the IGAD Migration Displacement Report, to acknowledge the big steps that have been made towards enhancing the content, but also the architecture and the ecosystem of migration data and statistics. I would like to commend everyone who has been involved in this whole process, and congratulations for this milestone. Such outputs have a pivotal role when it comes to all the efforts. So let's keep in mind the next steps, but let's also take a moment and also say, well done, we have gotten to this milestone. The road is still there in front of us, but let's carry on together. Thank you very much.
Thank you for those remarks. I want to acknowledge the support of IOM and then the daily constant engagement to ensure that we have reached this milestone. On that note, allow me to invite the representative from African Union Commission, Brian, to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I'll be very brief. Your Excellency, Mr. Mohamed Abdi, the Deputy Executive Secretary of the IGAD, Madam Rosemary Bowen, Acting Director from Population and Social Statistics, Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, the representative of the IGAD Chair, the Republic of Djibouti, and the partners present here, IOM and UN agencies, also North of Statistics Sweden, Statistics Norway, and distinguished delegates of IGAD member states, as well as the distinguished delegates from IGAD Secretariat. Good morning once again. I'm really honored to be part of this launch of the second edition of the IGAD Migration Statistics Report. And having been part of the initial or the conception of the technical working group and seeing how this has progressed, it really gives a lot of energy that we are moving in the right direction in terms of improving the capacity and the availability of migration data within the IGAD region. First of all, I want to commend all the IGAD member states present here and those who are not here, who have managed to share their data and also avail themselves in terms of ensuring that the data shared is validated, being part of the drafting process of the reports, and now we are going to do the launch of the report. Indeed, it's really a big milestone. I want you to applaud yourselves for this milestone, for the having gotten here for the second edition of the Labor Migration Statistics. Really, today really marks a very important milestone, given the efforts that you and all the partners here have put to strengthen the availability of migration and displacement data in the IGAD region for evidence-based policy development. We know that migration within this region still remains at the heart of the region's development story, whether we are talking about the cross-border mobility, we're talking about labor migration, we're talking about displacement. It really fosters the development of our shared visions in terms of improving our economies, the societies, and the cultures that we live in. But for us to manage this phenomenon effectively, we must understand it first. And how do we understand it? By ensuring that we have credible information that is easily comparable and also very comprehensive. I know from the first edition of the first edition of the Migration Statistics Report of IGAD, it really laid the foundation, and it's really very encouraging and progressive to see that that foundation has been built in by having now the second edition of the Migration Statistics Report and trying to link this with the national statistics system to be at the forefront in terms of improving this process. Indeed, it reflects very well in terms of how member states have gone ahead to ensure that the processes that are being done at the IGAD region are institutionalized at national level. For instance, when you talk about the technical working group from here at the IGAD region, we've seen this, that member states have also adopted the same process. They're trying to institutionalize technical working groups to support migration statistics availability at national level, which is really commendable in terms of how we are progressing. So, and all from the Africa Union Commission, we have different frameworks that we are using. When you talk about the migration policy framework, we have the Africa Union, the Joint Labor Migration Program that is supporting that process. We have the AU organs, and we have other instruments when you talk about the Free Movement Protocol and other tools. And some of the key instruments that we are using to advance the availability of migration data. But also, what we take cognizant of this is that these policy instruments take great consideration when on the availability of migration data for improving these processes. And that is the migration governance in general, which we consider as a development agenda. Now, The production of this report, that is the second edition of the Migration Statistics Report for IGAD, is a really strong testament of the big collaboration that we have seen from the national statistics offices, the immigration departments. We talk about the ministries of labor and the other institutions at national level. And it really underscores the great partnership that we are seeing, also the partners involved, the great partnership that we have seen in terms of trying to address the gaps that were identified in the first edition, as well as the contribution that has been made from the same process in the development of the migration reports at continental level. So we want to urge that we strengthen this partnership and ensure that we are able to produce more reliable data in a regular manner and produce effective reports that will support policy development and decision making. Now, as we reflect on the findings of this report, let's remember that migration is about the people and their aspirations, their challenges and contributions. So we need to have robust data so that we can have that policies that harness the protection of migrant workers and also foster how their contribution of migrants promote development at national level. So in closing, I want also to commend the IGAD Secretariat and also the member states present here. I know when we started the process in 2021, the gender representation was not that huge. So beginning from the podium, I can see, I didn't see that being noticed, but I want to acknowledge that there is high gender representation in terms of the females, so let's acknowledge that. Because when we started, I think one of the concerns was that ladies were not part of the process, but now we are seeing more involvement of female participants in this process, and that is really commendable. So let's ensure that as we go forward, let's ensure that all the data gaps that have been identified, all the recommendations that came out from this technical working group are actioned. Because most of the time you find that we have very good recommendations, but the implementation still remains a challenge. Let's ensure that that is taken into account and ensure that we are able to improve migration governance within the IGAD region. With that, I want to appreciate the efforts that have been made by the Secretariat to ensure that this report is already available. And I want to stop here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. I also want to acknowledge the support and the close collaboration that IGAD has with the African Union, particularly on migration data and statistics. It's a very strong partnership that will continue, but you also highlighted the issues of partnership as a key aspect. But also, you reminded us that we're talking about our citizens. So when we talk about data statistics, we're talking about our own citizens in the IGAD region. And then that includes men, women, girls, boys, and people with different issues. So it's important that we acknowledge that. So thank you for reminding us. On that note, allow me to invite Madam Chair from the Republic of Djibouti to say a few words. Madam Omar Hair, pleasure to have you with us.
So thank you, Madam Moderator. I will be quickly brief. So, Excellencies, Mr. Deputy Executive in IGAD Secretariat, Mr. Mohammed, dear colleagues, distinguished representative of IGAD member states, IGAD Secretariat, technical and financial partners, IGAD head mission of the Republic of Kenya, AUC representative, Mr. Brian, online participants, good morning. So speaking on behalf of my beloved country, Republic of Djibouti, and as a IGAD chair, allow me once again to share a few words in English. Charles, as you remember the opening section, I did make in French, so it's only fair that the closing be a little bit different. So as you know, English is our third language, and please forgive me my French-English accent. So let's say these 4 days of full workshop have a truly memorable. The strong commitment, the fruitful exchange, the motivation of all representative countries have made these 7 edition or session a real success. The work continue, and it will continue with the same spirit and determination. I would like once again to warmly congratulate the IGAD Secretariat team. I repeat it, a successful meeting is always the result of hard work, dedication, and teamwork. So congratulations to all of you. Before I close, I have to say, in your beautiful language, and I like this exercise, I have to say in your beautiful language, thank you. So, merci beaucoup à tout le monde pour toute votre participation in French. شكرا جزيلا. Maybe in Arabic, South Sudan. And I say, is it the Asante in Kenya, I'm Signal, Amharic in Ethiopia, and Luganda, Wibao. So no matter the language, the meaning was same. It was gratitude. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you all of you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We also acknowledge your leadership the last few days from Monday of this excellent moderation and guidance to ensure that we have a successful technical working group in Mombasa. So thank you for joining us. And I hope this will not be the last time, because banks are essential when you talk about data, statistics. So we hope to have not only from Djibouti, but all member states to continue their engagement as part of this process. So on that note, let me invite also from Kenya, so host country, Madam Rosemary Bohan, to make a few remarks.
Thank you very much. I will make these remarks on behalf of my Director General, Dr. McDonald Obudo, who was not able to be here. So these remarks are for the launch of the Migration Statistics Report, which is the second for IGAD. And I begin by appreciating the IGAD chair that has been here with us for all these 4 days, chairing the IGAD Secretariat. We have the Deputy Secretary of IGAD. Thank you very much. The representatives of IGAD states, the Statistics Sweden, International Organization on Migration, GIZ, AUC, our colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's my distinct honor and privilege to join you today for the launch of the second IGAD Migration Statistics Report. This milestone publication is a testament to the continuous collective efforts of IGAD member states, the technical experts, the development partners in addressing one of the most pressing issues of migration in our region. As I had earlier said on the first day, migration is a phenomenon that transcends the borders, and it is driven by complex interplay of economic, social, political, and environmental factors. For the IGAD region, migration is not just a challenge, but it is also an opportunity. It is good to see it in a positive light. It's a driver of economic growth. It also leads to cultural exchange and also regional integration. However, it presents significant governance challenges especially in ensuring safety, order, and regular migration while addressing irregular migration and its associated risks. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics is proud to have contributed to this important initiative of producing the report. As a country, Kenya has long been a hub for migration, and it has served as a place of origin. It's also a place of transit and destination of migrants and refugees for a long time. This report that we are launching today provides critical insights in terms of the trends, patterns, and dynamics of migration in our region, that is the IGAD region, and it offers a solid evidence to base policy and formulation and decision making. Ladies and gentlemen, the data and findings that are going to be presented in the report underscores the importance of collaboration and coordination among member states. No one could prepare this report alone. No country could do that. And therefore, it is a lot of collaboration, it is a lot of coordination. And thank you, Secretariat, for coordinating us. They highlight the need for harmonized definitions, methodologies, and data collection systems to ensure the production of reliable, timely, and comparable migration statistics. As we launch this report today, let us commit to implement its recommendations and fill the gaps that we have highlighted where necessary. Let us strengthen our national statistical systems within our own nations and enhance regional cooperation, also invest in the capacity of our own institutions to collect, analyze, and be able to utilize migration data. By doing so, we can ensure that migration is contributing to sustainable development, both within our region and also beyond. As I conclude, I wish to commend IGAD Secretariat, the members of the technical working group, and all the stakeholders who have worked tirelessly to make this report a reality. Your dedication and commitment is evident in the quality and the depth of the analysis that is going to be presented in the report that is shortly being launched. Let this report guide migration governance within our region, one that is informed by data, guided by evidence, and driven by a shared vision of peace, prosperity, and regional integration. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Rosemary Bowen, who's the Director of Population and Social Statistics from Republic of Kenya, for those remarks, but also for joining us the last few days and then providing us your support along with your team. I would like to acknowledge also online we have from the Government of Sudan, National Statistics Agency, as well as our partner from Statistics Norway, SADC, who have been supporting this process from the beginning. Now it's my pleasure to invite His Excellency Deputy Executive Secretary, Mr. Mohamed Wari, to make a keynote address and then officially open this workshop.
Good morning. I think we are still in the morning, huh? Delegates from our member states, acknowledging our chair, Djibouti, and our host, Kenya, representatives of the African Union, GIZ, IOM, Statistics Sweden, Statistics Norway, other partners, distinguished delegates from our member states, colleagues of the Secretariat. It's a great honor for me to join you in the conclusion of this workshop and in the launch of this very important report. On the outset, let me thank the government of Kenya and the people of Kenya for their exemplary hospitality. Kenya, of course, is a founding member of IGAD and a host, as Her Excellency mentioned, of numerous hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of refugees, migrants, IDPs, and others. It's therefore fitting that this workshop be held in Kenya at this time, and for this report to be launched from here. Today, we mark a significant milestone on the launch of this second edition of the Immigration Statistics Report, a flagship publication which reflects our region's determination to advance evidence-based governance. It would not be possible to achieve this without you. Allow me to thank you, our delegates from member states, for your vital, not only contribution, but ownership of this process. This will help us improve migration statistics, displacement, so that we can have correct policies that are based on evidence. As you all know, it's through the availability of accurate, reliable, and timely data.
Your competitive shipping rate.
It is through the availability of accurate, reliable, and timely data that we can develop evidence-based policies, national development plans, and visions to achieve the prospects of a resilient, peaceful, prosperous, and integrated region. Migration remains one of the most defining features of the IGAD region, driven by political instability, economic disparities, environmental shocks, and deep historical and cultural ties. Our member states are simultaneously countries of origin, transit, and destination. The result is a highly dynamic landscape comprising labor migrants, refugees, IDPs, returnees, and stateless persons. This second edition of the report, covering the data up to 2022, expands our knowledge base with in-depth analysis on labor migration, forced displacement, remittances, and migration governance. It highlights the persistent challenges of forced displacement in a humanitarian and development challenged region that continues to affect our people. IGAD, as an intergovernmental body whose mandate, in fact, whose core mandate is economic and political integration, the availability of accurate harmonized data is not a luxury. It is a necessity. Without it, our policies risk being reactive rather than proactive. With it, we can anticipate challenges, safeguard rights, and design durable solutions that uphold the dignity of displaced people. It brings also policies that can come up with well-governed migration issues underpinned by sound evidence as a driver of a sustainable development, social stability, and regional integration. Poorly governed migration risks heightening vulnerability, marginalization, and exploitation. This is why, with the support of our partners, including the African Union, GIZ, IOM, UNCDF, Statistics Sweden, Statistics Norway, and others, we have worked tirelessly to strengthen the regional migration data ecosystems. Today, the IGAD migration database spans more than a decade of data from 2010 to 2022, serving as an invaluable tool for policymakers, researchers, and practitioners. Ladies and gentlemen, the progress we celebrate today is a result of a collective effort. I wish to commend our member state statistical offices, migration authorities, central banks, line ministries, and other institutions whose commitment has been instrumental in producing this high-quality data. I also extend our gratitude to our partners for their financial, technical, and moral support. Looking ahead, the relevance of this work will only grow as we move towards the implementation of the IGAD protocol on the free movement of persons adopted in 2021. The demand for accurate and harmonized data will only intensify. This report, therefore, is not just a statistical product, it's a strategic instrument for advancing migration governance, fostering regional solidarity, and promoting shared prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently working towards the development of a new IGAD strategy for development, which aims to strengthen our vision, and for that, it is important to have clear, accurate, and valuable data. It is essential that we ensure alignment with the AU continental strategy on the harmonization of statistics in Africa as well. Allow me to reiterate IGAD's unwavering commitment to supporting our member states in strengthening migration data systems. Together, let us ensure that future editions of this report continue to be a reliable reference for action, one that guides us towards a more resilient, integrated, and prosperous IGAD. And for that, we owe a great deal of gratitude to all of you for making that possible. With that, I conclude my remarks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency Deputy Executive Secretary Mr. Mohamed Wari, for joining us, but also for these remarks and highlighting some of the key issues that also reminded us our assignments collectively, but also our responsibilities and then the ownership. At this point, I also would like to acknowledge, because the colleagues that have been instrumental to have the second edition of Migration Statistics Report, my colleague Charles Ogola, Aswan Behil, who have been, as well as the focal persons from each member states that have been working with IGAD Secretariat, but also colleagues that are here in this room, but also back in the IGAD Secretariat who supported us, and then our partners to ensure that we were able to publish the second edition of this report, because collectively it's our own report. We own this report, and we know what the value of owning our own data and statistics. So on that note, this concludes the remarks by distinguished delegates here in the high table. So we will have now a brief video of a trailer that basically will look at the second edition of the report. So colleagues,
across the IGAD region, thousands of people are on the move every day, within their borders and across them, by land, rail, water, and air. Some move in search of opportunity, others are displaced by conflict and insecurity, while many are compelled by the realities of climate change. This growing movement is reshaping the region, with migration on the rise. In less than a decade, international migrants have increased by nearly 66%, from 4.1 million in 2013 to 6.8 million in 2022. Today, IGAD member states serve simultaneously as countries of origin, transit and destination. This growth reflects both opportunity and challenge. Protracted conflicts in Sudan, South Sudan and Somalia, combined with political instability, recurrent droughts and food insecurity, continue to displace millions. By the end of 2022, the region hosted 4.3 million refugees, representing 1 in every 6 globally. Host communities, often under pressure themselves, are extending solidarity by sharing scarce resources, healthcare and education with those displaced. Migration pathways are diverse. The eastern corridor through Yemen to the Middle East, the northern route through Sudan and Libya toward Europe, and the southern passage through Kenya and Tanzania towards South Africa. Each journey carries risks, but also speaks to resilience and determination. This report underscores the importance of stronger data systems, harmonized statistics and evidence-based policies. Reliable information is essential to guide collective action. Migration in the IGAD region is more than numbers. It is a shared story of resilience, challenge, and opportunity for the future.
My pleasure now to invite my colleague Charles Ogola, who's IGAD Head of Statistics, but also the mastermind behind the whole migration data and statistics, to take us through brief highlights of the report.
Thank you very much, Madam Yemisrach. And I stand here as Excellency, the Deputy Executive Secretary of IGAD, Mohamed Douare. I stand here on the established protocols already, and my work has been cut out. Is it because already the trail has already summarized the highlights of the report. However, first of all, I want to acknowledge the task force members who are part and parcel of this collaboration, and all the member states were represented. So when we come to the report is of the time series from 2010 up to 2022. And this underscores the need of continuously looking up-to-date data, and we believe that in the next edition, we will already continue improving so that we can always be on a current data. So in terms of the scope of the report, the report covers the issues of the IGAD population profile, the issues of the international migration and mobility, that also includes issues of border movement, irregular migration and associated protection risks, the forced displacement that has already been articulated in the trailer, the issues to do with the migration data governance that are at the national level and also regional level and at also continental level, that really help us in terms of strengthening the migration and displacement data ecosystem within all those frames. And also the issues of the remittance and some of the critical recommendations. When you look at the IGAD population profile in the year 2022, it was at around 283 million. And in terms of the 2012, it was around 217. And IGAD region is a home of a fifth of the African population, with our square, our square is around 5.2 million square, and therefore even when you are translating into the population density, it also helps us to understand how the resources can also be achieved. And also looking into the gross domestic product at 2022 was standing at around 338 billion USD. The profile, in terms of the trends, we have always been on the move. There has always been an upward increase in terms of the population. And this also speaks to the issue of the policies and also the issues to do with looking into some of the areas that can be utilized in terms of the resource allocation, policy development, and also addressing the holistic population. So far, I want to say that in terms of the gender distribution or the sex distribution, you'll find that it's almost 50-50, and also the youthful population, which also brings the issues of the demographic dividend. And also in terms of the working age population of the IGAD region, stands at around 50.4%. It stands at around 169.7 million, of which 50.4% were women. So in terms of the IGAD population, the labor force also was on an increment, and at 2010 it was around 81.8 million, but at 2022 it was around 117.5 million. And this you could also see in terms of even the distribution in terms of sex, male and female, and particularly you could see that there was that consistent gap between the two sexes. In summary, in terms of the migration and displacement, you'll find that there was an increment that has already been mentioned in terms of the international migrants from 4.1 to around 6.8 million in 2022, with the working age migrant comprising of 63.3% of the total. And therefore, in terms of even the gender gap was still persisting, and you could also see in terms of the distribution between the male and female, which is already captured within the report. IGAD also is hosting 4.3 million refugees. That was around 1 in 6 globally, but this was at 2022. At 2024, when we'll be coming up with the 3rd edition, we'll also be able to underscore up to where we are. Women and children also are forming majority of refugees and asylum seekers, but in terms of the labor migration and youthfulness, migrant labor force participation rate was at 69.6% of men versus 47.6% of women. That already shows a big gender gap in terms of around 22%. And then the young population was accommodated in the labor force was around 60% male, and in total it was around 1.2 million by 2022. Then the gender gap still remains significant, and therefore even as we address the policies, it should also take into consideration in terms of the gender issues and call for the gender inclusive migration governance as a result of what disparity is coming there. In terms of just nitty-gritty, there was still an increment in terms of the issues of the total migrant, and also here we were looking into international migrant and also the vis-a-vis the working age international migrants. And you could see that all of them are also on an increase. And we can say that the share of the migrants in the total population was around 2.4%, with the working age international migrants in Africa increasing from 2.7 million in 2010 to around 4.3 million in 2022, representing around 56% increase. And also, therefore, the trends continue to highlight the significant upsurge in migration within IGAD region, underscoring the need to enhance migration governance to manage those challenges and also support the socio-economic development effectively. In terms of the labor participation, force participation rates of the migrant workers, the trend you could see that was still in terms of male and female, there was that gap. And at 2022, it was around 22%, and therefore need to address the gender disparity among the migrant workers and focusing on the policies and interventions that promote gender equality with the help of harnessing the full potential of its workforce. Youth, as mentioned, was at around 60% were the young migrants, and that already talks about the issue of the demographic dividends, and even when you are looking into the policies that are being developed also, we also need to look into the issues of that group. Forced displacement, as mentioned, as there was an increase, and this was in terms of from at 2022 it was standing as 4.3 million, and you could see that the working age population were majority of this group as in the graph that is shown there. And this demographic composition enabled us in terms of even better understanding of the gender and age dynamics within the population and their capacities and vulnerability. And this also really helped in terms of underscoring the access to education, especially amid conflicts and the crises that lead family displacement, and also looking into some of the challenges that are related to issues of education, social integration, and protection. Even when you look at the working age population, it was critical in terms of having some of the specific needs and the vulnerability that also requires some of the particular attention and support, more so when you are speaking about the age dependency ratio. Then in terms of the asylum seekers, also at 2022, it was standing at around 165,000. And the breakdown also was showing still the same in terms of majority being at the age group between 18 and 59. Remittance in IGAD region had already moved from 3.2 billion to around 12 billion in the year 2022. And therefore, as we were looking at this remittance, already it shows you how the remittance volume has been, and majority of them, this was majorly of the formal, and there are also issues on informal. However, at that particular time, we thought that it was also very important to continue looking into other disaggregation of remittance, and including the cost of remittance and others, to really underscore or even come up with the policies that can really help in terms of enabling the issues of remittance. Having said that, there were still challenges, but these challenges will really help us also continue work towards bettering this, the next edition. And some of the challenges was in terms of the flow of migrants, whereby member states were not able to report on the flow of the migrant flows holistically, and this majorly comes from the administrative data sources, and therefore there is always the need to strengthen the administrative data sources for statistical purposes. Also, member states were not able to report on migrant workers with some of the detailed characteristics, for example, going into education level, occupation, those other nitty-gritty, to bring the holistic profile of each and every population, so that it can really help in terms of articulating which kind of intervention could be done. Also, in terms of some of the member states, there were some inconsistencies and in some of the years, and therefore some adjustment and estimations were also being done, but still cannot overcompensate the missing information. And therefore, even in some of the variables, we were not able to have an aggregate of the region, because some of the member states were not able to get it to give out. For example, even irregular migration. And also, therefore, we also thought that it was also important to continue working towards addressing even the inadequate data on the movement in terms of irregular and border movement. In terms of key recommendation, in terms of strengthening the migration and displacement statistics, some of them were in terms of improving the utilization of administrative data sources for migration and displacement statistics, harmonization of methods, definitions, and concepts to allow comparability and aggregation, issue of upgrading and developing better reporting system to collect and monitor some of the use of remittance data, statistical inclusion of migration and displacement data into the economic aspects of the region, whereby all the member states need to have the statistical inclusion of this migrant and displacement data within their system for ease of planning. Also, elaboration of data disaggregation and looking into strengthening the data on internally displaced persons and irregular migration and associated protection risk, because this one whereby we had a lot of gaps, and also continuing enhancement of the migration governance architecture, whereby ensuring that there is a whole of system or all of a society approach to ensure that we address this item. Key policy recommendation was in terms of protection, protect migrant rights and ensure social inclusion, promotion of gender equality in the labor market, the issue of need for policies to reap the demographic dividend, and the need to address the displacement situation in the region. In conclusion, IGAD region has made progress, but disparities still remain. We are therefore there's still need for sustained effort to harness demographic and migration potential, data-driven policies that are essential for inclusive and sustainable growth, increasing the understanding of the IGAD region socioeconomic dynamics, which is very important in terms of even looking at the holistic aspect, and lastly, strengthening the collaboration among the data and statistical holders. Looking forward, we anticipate that we will be able to produce and launch the next edition of Migration Statistics Report by June 2026 next year. The team is here already working towards ensuring that they validate the data, which we'll continue working towards with. And Excellency, I want also to report that next week we'll be having a small task force that will start the drafting of the next edition of the Migration Statistics Report, which will then be subjected to the member states for input. And there again, there will be back and forth until we are able to underscore that all of us are in the same page because of the ownership. And we believe that come June next year, we should be able to have the third edition, which will be updated up to the year 2024. As we move forward, we'll always try to be up to the current year, depending on the data availability. Thank you very much, and asante sana.
Thank you, Charles, for taking us through the main highlights of the report, the different dimensions, challenges, but also recommendations that will take us through, as well as our assignment. But you gave us the appetizer. I'm sure everyone is excited to see the actual report. So that, with that note, now we'll go to the official ceremony of launching of the report. So it's my pleasure to invite His Excellency Deputy Executive Secretary Mohamed Worry, accompanied by Republic of Djibouti, Madam, as well as Madam Rosemary from Republic of Kenya, to join His Excellency to the corner to launch the report. Okay. Excellency, Deputy Executive Secretary Mohamed Worry, please unveil the second edition of the IGAD Migration Statistics Report. He's joined by Madam Rosemary, who's the Director of Kenya Population Social Statistics, as well as Her Excellency, Madam from Djibouti. Wow. I would like now to invite heads of delegation from each member states and partners to join the booth. Heads of delegation from each member state and one person from each member state, please join the excellencies, distinguished. One person from each member state. We'll have 3 photo sessions with the book. Do we have all member states represented? Yes, Charles, join. Yes. Last one, please join. I would like now to invite IGAD partners present in this room. Please join. Please join. AUC, UNCDF, Albert. Please. IOM. Let's give them a round of applause while they arrange the seating. All the partners? Okay. Now everyone else, please join. Please join, everyone. Please join the photo. Everyone, kindly join. Thank you everyone for joining the photo. And apologies, we only have the English version, so apologies to the Republic of Djibouti for not having the French version. Hopefully we will have it soon. So thank you everyone. Please, let's go back to our seats so that we will have the final closing session of this ceremony.
Oh, really? Yes, yes. Yeah, we can. Huh? My wife. Hello? Maybe I. Hello? Oh, good, oh, good. Yellow wedding in Mexico.
Colleagues, let's go back to our seat so we can conclude this session. Colleagues, yes, thank you. So I'll make two announcements. We have, so the French version of this edition will be ready by next week, as well as we will have more copies of the report soon. So just to make those two announcements before we go to the closing remark. So it's now my pleasure to invite His Excellency Deputy Executive Secretary, Mr. Mohamed Wari, to make his closing remark.
Thank you very much. I will be very brief since most of the statements have been said. Let me make some off-the-cuff remarks. As we said in a number of different ways, population movement is central to our region. Some movement is forced by conflict or by circumstances. What we would like to promote is that people move freely, voluntarily, within the law, and for economic prosperity. For us to achieve that, we need reliable data. I think this is, as they say, it's like preaching to the choir. You are data professionals. So I don't need to spend any time telling you how important it is to have reliable data. Population movement is also very sensitive. Therefore, when our leaders take sometimes difficult decisions, difficult policies related to population movement, they should be equipped with facts, with evidence-based information, so that they can feel comfortable in their decisions, they can convince their constituencies, their nations, and their partners. And you in this room are at the forefront of that endeavor. Really, I remember when the first report was launched, let me assure you, the room today is very different. Because that report, half of our time was consumed by challenging, questioning, debating the validity, the correctness, the sources, the methodology of the data. It is because you have owned it, you have actually collected the information, that we are able to talk about using it for policy direction. I'm really personally very glad and very proud to be involved in this endeavor. And we could not do this without our member states. I thank you. I thank you very much. I would also like to thank our partners who really help us in getting this work done. Thank you very much. It is my great honor and my great pleasure to conclude my remarks by wishing you a very enjoyable stay in Mombasa and a safe trip back home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency Deputy Executive Secretary Mohammed Wari, for joining us, and also for your continuous and unwavering support to the migration as program to ensure that migration governance becomes a benefit for all of us. It's now my pleasure to invite the Madam Chair from Republic of Djibouti to make her closing remark. You've been instrumental in the last few days, and you managed these sessions, the 7th Technical Working Group, very smoothly. So we really are encouraged by your continuous support in the last few days. Let's give her a round of applause. Yes.
So thank you very much, my moderators of IGAD. So before I make my conclude remarks, let's say that the Central Bank of Djibouti is motivated than ever to share with you all the data that IGAD needs, remittances or other data. We are here and we have to share at times. So yeah, let's say, and now the sanctioned guests, dear all, it's an honor to join the Deputy Executive Secretariat in unveiling the 2nd edition of IGAD Migration Statistic Report. Together, we opened the curtains, and now I would like to congratulate, all representative country to the effort that they made. And we can make a round of applause to ourselves, firstly. And also, I would like to encourage the Secretariat IGAD team to the work that they made. And yeah, maybe I memorized 19% of their names: Yemi, Charles Ongola, Ibrahim, Teresa, Nim'o, Muse, Fatuma Barkhat, Aswan. Yeah, a round of applause for them. And congratulations for you, for our participants. So thank you. Thank you
very much, Madam Omal here. And it's encouraging to hear that the Central Bank of Djibouti supports our initiative, and we will have more collaboration going forward. It's now my pleasure to invite from the Republic of Kenya and host of this meeting, Madam Rosemary Bohan, who is the Director of Population and Statistics, to close this ceremony.
So good afternoon. Yeah, so allow me to stand on the established protocols already. The 7th IGAD Regional Technical Working Group on Migration Data, as it comes to a close this afternoon, the Republic of Kenya would like to extend gratitude to all participants for considering Kenya as the host for this workshop. I want to give gratitude also to the Republic of Djibouti, the Republic of Ethiopia, Republic of Somalia, Republic of South Sudan, Republic of Uganda for honoring the invitation to participate in this workshop. Extend our greetings to your governments when you return back to your country. A lot of thanks also goes to our partners. I'll not be able to mention all of them. Among them, GIZ, Statistics Sweden, Statistics Norway, International Organization for Migration, AUC, UNHCR, for providing support to the IGAD Regional Technical Working Group on Migration. Also, thank you very much for the member states that have been here from the beginning up to the end. You have gone a long way in strengthening migration statistics in our region. To IGAD as a whole, and especially the Secretariat, Kenya takes note of your endless efforts and leadership in harmonizing and improving the quality of migration statistics. You have also promoted the utilization of this data, which is in the form of reports that you have produced. Your efforts are bearing fruit, and this conversation that has gone on for the last 3 days is bearing fruit. You actually came at the right time. Thank you very much, IGAD. To our technical and logistical support team, we are grateful for your onerous and coordinated effort. You actually made this workshop a great achievement, and we are celebrating the success of the workshop. IGAD Chair, you are an awesome chair. Amazing, humorous leadership. No words can express how well you guided us in this workshop. You have made this workshop successful, and we say thank you very much. Please convey our gratitude to your government for us. Sarova White Sands is one of the premier conference and holiday destinations in Mombasa, and I think you agree with me. We are forever, the excellent services and environment is commendable. I don't know whether there is anyone from Sarova. We are grateful for the hotel, for hosting us, and for accommodating our diverse tastes. For us, Kenya, we are really so grateful that you have shared the 4 nights together with us. We have been hosts for many conferences, and we ask you to keep coming to Kenya. As we close this workshop, let's all remain in solidarity to the vision of the Technical Working Group for Migration, so that we ensure that migration displacement data in the region is always available, accurate, reliable, and can be utilized for development planning within our region. There are many recommendations that were made at the end of the workshop. Let's remember those recommendations. Let them not remain in the shelves, but let's action them. Lastly, I wish each one of us a safe travel back to our various destinations, and may the Lord God Almighty go with you together with your families and bless you and make your nations prosperous. God bless you and have a safe journey.
Let's give us another round of applause to Madam Rosemary Bohan, who's the Director of Population and Social Statistics from Republic of Kenya, for hosting this meeting, but also for joining us the last few days. On that note, I also would like to acknowledge partners that have joined online. Thank you for your support, as well as viewers that have followed the social handle from IGAD Secretariat this ceremony. On that note, with this few remarks, this launch is concluded, and I encourage everyone to read the report. So.